All right, so we're going to go through the listing presentation from start to finish. This is assuming you've obviously already made the appointment and you're, Chris, and you're at the seller's house. So you're worse than I am. So just keep in mind with this presentation and the next one, with the scripts, read them, like familiarize yourself with them, but make them your own. Don't, read right from the script. I don't even read right from the script, and it's my script, so. So just make it your own. So basically we're just going to read through this, and I'm just going to kind of tell you guys what I do while I'm there at the house, what I look for, what I say, all that good stuff. But please feel free to ask any questions you have. I doubt this class is going to last an hour and a half. Just FYI. If you know me, I go very quickly, efficiently, and we're on to the next. So when you first show up at the appointment, obviously you're going to introduce yourself. So you say, hello, Mr. Whomever. I'm Sabrina Kelsey with Exit. We had an appointment today. It's important to note the time that you're there because a lot of realtors are late all the time, like I just was. So you want to point out the fact that you're on time, and you definitely want to be on time for your listing appointments because people have actually lost listings because they're late. So just be respectful of your client's time. But that's why in the script they point that out. So they say, we had an appointment at 4 o'clock, and it's 4 o'clock. Can I come in? Thanks for inviting me over. I'm excited that you decided to list your house with me today or tonight. Or you can say it's a pretty important decision you're about to make to list your home with me today or tonight. Basically, throughout this whole script, we're just going to be soft closing a lot of times. So we're just going to keep saying you're going to list your house with me. We're going to say pretty much what you're going to list your house with me about 17 times. You're going to get some variance. So maybe sit at the kitchen table. So a lot of realtors will just walk in the house and they'll start looking around. I mean, that's the most important reason that you're there, to take a look at the condition of the house so you can price it appropriately. But I would suggest you sit at the kitchen table first and start to build rapport. Find out why they're looking to sell the house, where they're going to go, do they need to buy a new house, are they staying here, are they moving to another state, ask if they have kids, what they do for work, anything you can kind of gain from them because you're going to use it later on. So after we sit at the kitchen table and we ask all those questions, then we say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'd like to take a quick look through the house so I can see it from the eyes of a buyer. Since you won't be here during the showings to the buyers, trust me, it won't take long. I've done this many times and I'll see everything a buyer will see. I'll take notes throughout, and then after you list your house with me, you can point out all the things in the house that make it special for you. So you definitely want to have a notebook, and while you go around, you want to look at the condition of the house, obviously, but you also want to look at things for like FHA and VA. So how old is the roof? Is there peeling paint? Railings, hand railings are a big issue. My personal philosophy is to have every house ready for FHA because FHA is the most commonly used loan product. You will get a conventional, but, I mean, why wait? Have them fix it now before you list it. Obviously, if their roof is like 100 years old, they're probably not going to put on a new roof to sell their house. I mean, you could throw it out there. Probably not going to happen. And then you would just know in the listing that it's going to be conventional or 203K or cash. And ask questions. How old is the boiler? How old is the roof? How old is the furnace? How old is the water heater? Anything else you see that looks weird or out of the ordinary, ask about it. Because obviously other agents are going to ask about it if they put in an offer. Or these are things that are going to keep them from putting in an offer. So you want to try and get ahead of that. And then you say to them, I know many agents have you take them through the house through your eyes and have you explain everything, but then they see the house through your eyes instead of through a buyer's eyes. So you don't really want the seller to follow you through because even though you have questions for them and you do want to be able to ask them, you don't want them pointing out, oh, this is where, Mary Jo fell and scraped her knee. I mean, that's going to make your listing appointment like 4 hours instead of 1 hour. And they're just going to try and sell you on the house, and you actually want to see the problems of the house. Yes, you want to know, the things they love about the house because it will help you market it, but at that moment, you want to see the problems with the house so you can get ahead of them. Let me ask you how long you've been working for such and such a company, and they'll answer you, and you say, are you faster today than you were the day you started? Great, you're just like me. I've been doing this so long, it only takes me a few minutes. You may follow me if you're like, or you can fill out the seller survey, which is the seller's disclosure, and then you hand them the seller's disclosure. You guys just went over that, right? Okay. So we can save some time tonight. Won't that be great? So when you come back to the table, you ask them any of the questions. You ask them if they were able to finish filling out the survey in the time it took you to look at the house. Obviously, if it's a 900 square foot house, it's not going to take you that long to walk through it. They may not have had time to fill it out, but generally they'll have it filled out by the time you come back. Look it over, ask any additional questions you have about the house based on the answers that they put in the disclosure or what you saw when you walked around, and thank them for taking the time to fill out the survey and tell them what a great house they have. But don't over-embellish because that's going to lead to pushback on listing price. So if you tell them this is the best house you've ever seen and everything is just absolutely phenomenal and amazing and great, yeah, they're probably going to hire you. But also when you tell them that their house is only worth $100,000, they're going to look at you like you're crazy because you just told them their house was the most amazing house you ever saw. So you want to compliment and certainly be sincere. If there's something there you like, obviously mention that, but just don't go overboard because then it leads to more problems in the future. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have a great deal of respect for you and your investment of time. In fact, we only have 3 goals for our meeting today. We're going to review your motivation to sell this house now and agree on a price that will cause it to sell. It's very important that you say now because otherwise they'll try to list in the spring, always, no matter what time of year it is. We'll take a moment and I'll answer any questions you may have. And we'll decide tonight whether you choose to work with me, and I'll decide if I choose to take your listing. So that catches them off guard because they're like, what? You just came out to my house and now you're going to decide you don't want my listing? Like, everyone thinks realtors are desperate for business. And trust me, we are. We all want to make money, but it gives you an upper edge, an upper hand if you don't look desperate. Tell them, you may not choose. And to be honest with you, I mean, when you first start, you're going to take whatever you can get, obviously. But the more listings you get, the more buyers you get, the more busy you get. If someone is completely ridiculously outrageous about a price, you will want to save your time and tell them that you don't want to work with them. But in the beginning, take whatever you can get, even if it's high, because you'll still be able to put a sign in the yard, you'll still be able to market it, you'll be able to generate other business even off an overpriced listing, and you'll get experience. So, that's always good. If they make a comment, you say to them, that doesn't happen a lot. For instance, you may choose to set a price that will help your house sell, or you may choose me to pay for marketing that I know will not help you sell your house. So what does that mean? There are still very few people out there, but they're there, that want you to put their house in the real estate magazines, that want you to put their house in the paper, things that people don't really use to buy houses anymore. And so that would be another instance where you wouldn't want to work with them if they can't see your point of view. And we'll go through that later in here where we tell them where buyers come from. So that should help you overcome that objection, but if it doesn't, you'll have to decide what you want to do. And then you ask them, fair enough. And so I have 3 critical questions for you. Do you really want to sell your house? No, I just asked you to come here for fun. You just want to bring that to their attention again, because once you get to the end and you're telling them what price you want to list their house for and the marketing that you want to do, and they're fighting with you about commission, and they're fighting with you about price, and they're fighting with you about marketing, you just want to be able to bring that back up. You said that you wanted to sell your house now. You said that you need to go to Florida by May. So I'm going to help you get to Florida by May, by doing X, Y, and Z. That just reminded me, Tracy said that you guys didn't talk about pushback and commission last class. Okay, that's not in here, but I'll talk to you guys. Just remind me at the end. So the next question is, are you willing to price your house to sell, or do you want it to sit on the market? Might want to say that a little nicer. It's up to you. And right now we're in a seller's market, so there is a lot of pushback about that. Everyone wants to list high because things are selling high, and they want to list. I literally just had this happen on Tuesday. The guy's like, I want to list my house at $270,000, and I'm like, buddy, I'll list it at $260 for you, but really it's only going to sell at $250. And he's like, but I really think my house is worth $270. And I said, that's great, but I've shown you the comps, and it supports that it's really only going to sell for $250. But we are in a seller's market, so I'd be willing to list it for $260. And I said, if you're right, if on the off chance that you know better than I do, sometimes you have to be sarcastic without being a jerk. If on the off chance that you know better than I do, I have to cough, sorry. Excuse me. What will happen is we'll put it on at $260, and we'll get multiple offers, and it'll raise it to $270. So either way, it's a win-win. But if we go with your plan and we put it on at $270 and it sits and it's not worth $270, then you're going to waste time on the market, and then you're going to get lower offers. You're going to get lowball offers. The longer you're on the market, the less the offers are, the less percentage that they're closer to asking. Does that make sense the way I just said that? Okay. So you have to, coach them, and remind them, listen, I get paid on how much your house sells. So if I really thought that your house had any chance of selling at $270,000, obviously I would list it for that.
Well, would you ask him, what makes you feel that this is, what features in the property do you feel are worth the extra $20,000?
You can do that, but generally it's stuff that does not add any value, and then you're just opening yourself up for a fight.
Okay.
Because they'll say, well, we dumped $60,000 into our kitchen.
Okay.
Well, that's lovely, and now your house will sell quicker, but it's not going to sell for $60,000 more just because.
Okay.
Or they'll say, the house across the street sold 3 years ago for X amount of dollars, so my house should too. People are crazy, and they have unrealistic expectations of what things actually are worth. But you can definitely ask, just be careful.
Okay.
Because you might open yourself up. I find it easier to just shut it down as quickly as possible.
Okay.
So if there's pushback because we're in a seller's market, you can say to them, people are being told the market is hot and everything is selling, which it is. Let me help you understand what's really happening. I watch the market daily. Today there are X amount of houses on the market, so you have to do a little bit of market research. How many houses are there for sale right now? Last week, X amount sold, so that means X didn't sell. You just subtract the two. So if there are 5 houses on the market last week and only 2 of them sold, 3 of them obviously didn't sell. Simple. That's why pricing your home appropriately is so important, because even in the seller's market, the longer your home sits on the market, the more low ball offers you're going to receive. So that just drives home your point even more. Yes, houses are selling, but only houses that are priced correctly are selling. So if your house is overpriced, it's still going to sit on the market. Do you want me to sell it for you? Again, that's just a soft close. If they say yes, give them the contract and belong. At any point, if they say say yes, they're going to list with you, just forget the rest of the script and have them sign. No need to oversell. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I just want to ask you a few questions to ensure that I thoroughly understand your circumstances to sell your house. Why did you choose this house? This is where you're going to find out what they like about their house and what other buyers might like about the house. But it's also going to drive home a very important point. So it's a very important question. I understand, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, buyers are just like you. They buy the house that they see at the best value for what they need. Are you aware of how buyers determine value? they're probably going to say no, or they're probably going to say no. I don't think they ever say yes. It's like buying anything, let's say a computer. You go to one store and the computer you want is $1,500. You, like everyone, like to save money, so you go to another store where you see the same computer for $1,500, only this one has a DVD player, a built-in webcam, and movie-making software. Which one will you buy? Which one would you guys buy? Right, the one with all the extra stuff. You're going to pay the same amount of money, you want something extra for it. Right, because it gives you more for the same price, more features and benefits. Now let's say you really didn't care about the webcam and the built-in DVD player. What would you expect the other store to do if you were to buy their computer? What do you guys expect the other store to do? Ding, ding, ding. Lower the price. So, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the buyers will be choosing the same way you did. See, most buyers in this type of market view 12 to 15 houses before they decide to buy. In a seller's market, it's 10 to 12 houses because houses are going under agreement every day. So they could want to see 12 to 15, but they're gone by the time you schedule the appointment. They compare houses much like you did tonight, which I'll show you how we compare houses. So in essence, your house is competing against 11 to 14 houses at any given time. The buyers walk through the house after house after house, and they look for the one that offers the most features and benefits for the least amount of money. And that's what we call value in the eyes of the buyer. I can't read today, sorry guys. So buyers like yourself either look for more features for the same price or lesser price. Whatever it is, it's all about price. So based on the comparable houses, this one priced at this one priced at this, what do you feel should be the price of your house? Okay, so if you guys look at this packet, the first sheet is the sample house. This is actually the one I did the listing appointment on, that one to list at $270. How ironic. So when you're looking at this, what we're looking for is the year it was built, how many rooms, how many beds and baths, and how big it is, and how big the lot is. The rest of the information we really don't need. You might want to know it's a cave. And then the next sheet is how to do the search. It didn't print right, so I apologize, because all this stuff was highlighted. So the first search I do is just for sold. And I do within 200 square feet, smaller or larger. So in this case, there's 1,400 square feet. I would do 1,200 to 1,600, and I would do 3+ bedrooms. And if you look at the address, I type in the exact address and then put 1 mile. And then what I pulled up is your next 3 comps. Now, some agents will only comp capes to capes, ranches to ranches, and I see why they do that. But in looking with buyers, most of them don't care. You will get some that say, I absolutely don't want a ranch, and you'll get a few that say, I don't want a cape. But in general, they just want a nice house in their price range, so it doesn't matter to them if the styles are similar. So when I'm coming on a property, I look at the big picture, what has sold, what's on the market, and not so specifically. It's more important to me to be within 1 mile than it is to have a matching style. That's just my own personal opinion. So the other things that we compare is garages. Garages usually at about $10,000 in value. So this sample property doesn't have a garage, but you'll notice 47 Cooper Road does, and that's sold for $250. So you would assume that value at $240. That's the only one that has a garage, yes. But the other thing that we don't know about this property without seeing it is that they finished their basement and they added a full bath down there. So that adds 600 square feet, even though it can't go in the listing as square feet. They didn't pull permits. Big mistake. So we can market it, but we can't use it as part of the square footage on the listing. So you have to keep all of that in mind. So we listed at $260. You might look at these and be like, why? This one's 233, this one's 237, this one's 250, but it has a garage, and it's because of the extra square footage. And also, the sample property has 0.75 acres, which the rest of these are, well, Cooper Road has 1.45, but the other two have really small acreage.
If you put the year in the MLS pin,
You can.
like a certain year.
Yep, right here, this box on the
your
right
note.
side.
Okay.
Yep. I generally won't do that unless it's like brand new, like if it was built after 2000 or something like that. But you can put it right there. And you can add a plus sign to anything, so you can do 1950 and older. I mean, or it could be newer, 1950 and newer. And you print out the pictures because you want to basically present these to your seller. And you want to ask them, like, do you know this property? Have you seen 47 Cooper Road? Have you seen 74 Walling Way? Because you don't know. These could be their friends' houses, and then they could have some insider information that you don't have. So it's always good to ask if they've seen them, but also print the pictures in case they haven't so they can get some sort of idea how these houses compare to theirs. And they can look, and you can ask them, you know, if you were buying a house right now, which house would you buy? And then they would pick one, and then you would ask them why, what are the features and benefits. That also helps you when you're negotiating price as well. So these are the sold. What I also look at is what's active on the market because that's your competition. So this stuff sold, if you look on the second page, this sold, Cooper Road sold in October. Wallen Way sold in December.
How far back from time is it?
6. I just don't adjust it. But then I take that into account when I'm coming up with the price. And then this one sold in September. So the market has changed even since December. Prices have risen even since then. And now we're in the spring market, so prices are even higher based on that. So yeah, when you're looking at what is sold, it's a good place to start. But more importantly for me is what's currently active. So on this one, again, it didn't print what was highlighted, but I have everything from reactivated up highlighted. So reactivated, extended, back on market, price change, active, and new. Same search criteria with the square footage and the bedrooms and the address in the 1 mile. And then you look at what your competition is. So you have one that's on there for $212, but the rest, one is $289.9 and one is $299.9. And the $299 has a 2-car garage, so even if you take off $20,000 for that, that's still $279.
So it's $10,000 per day.
Yes. So you have to take that into account. So now if I put on a property that's the same size as these three, but I put it on at $259, you know, as long as they're comparable, if you look at the pictures, as long as mine is in the same type of shape that theirs is, obviously someone in that price range is going to buy my house before these because it's less expensive. So that is why, to me, what's active is way more important than what's sold. You want to get a rough idea of what's sold, and you want to look at these. So you want to look at the one that's $299, and you want to look on the second page at the bottom where it says it's been on the market for 126 days. That's a good indication that it's overpriced very badly.
Started at 329.
That's what I was just going to say next, is that you want to take a look at where it started and how long it's come down. I mean, how much it's come down.
Have you price adjust for like number of bathrooms to this extra half bath?
Yes, it's 5,000
For full half.
for a full, so 2,500 for half.
Maybe somebody to entry only.
Yeah, I don't price adjust for entry only.
No.
No, because the house is still the house and it's still on the MLS. So whether it gets syndicated, I don't know. It depends on the agreement. What else they're doing to market it, probably not much, but I don't know that for sure. So there's too many. Do you guys know what entry only is? Okay.
Got the three.
What? So entry only is when someone calls an agent and they pay a flat fee to be put on MLS. So the agent doesn't negotiate on their behalf. They don't necessarily market the property. They just put it on the MLS.
Let's leave it in the notes somewhere.
Yeah.
It's the disclosure in the bottom.
Yeah.
I was saying Derek Green does that a lot.
Derek Green?
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
Like everyone on his list is actually.
Where does he work? What town? Oh.
For who?
This one's entryonly.com.
Yeah.
That's their whole
Yeah.
marketing strategy.
Yeah, entry only.
Lovely. Yeah, you would see it when you were going to make the appointment.
Oh, okay.
You have to usually call the seller to make an appointment. So you would show these to your seller as well, and you would say this is what your competition is, and you can relate it to something else that they would be buying. So like a car. If you're going to buy a car and you have $1,000 to buy a car, or $10,000 or whatever the number is, what features are you going to pay more for? What are you not going to pay more for? Take a look at these houses, look at the pictures, and see, you want to be competitive. So price is based, not price, but houses sell based either on price or condition. So not in good condition, it's usually cheap. So still all relates back to price.
Do you ever look at the contingent and under agreement? See like what?
I don't, because you don't know what they sold for.
Okay.
So it can say that it's on the market for $289,000, or not on the market, but it's contingent for $289,000, but for all you know, they took an offer of $200,000. So it's just too much. I try to go by the facts.
Mhm.
So the ones that are active, even though they haven't sold, you can see how long they've been on the market. So that's a good indicator if they're overpriced or not. Any other questions about the comps?
What about a pool? Everyone has an in-ground pool. That a increase or decrease?
Decrease.
It's neither, because it depends on the buyer. So some buyers won't buy a house with a pool, and some want a house only with a pool. So if we were in Florida, it would always be an increase. But here in New England, some people want them and some people don't. So it's hard to price adjust for that stuff. It'd be like granite countertops. Like maybe there's one person in the world who doesn't want them. So, where are we on this one? So that's when you ask them, what do you feel we should price your house at? So it's positioned on the market to outperform any and all of the other properties for sale. So you've presented them the sold, you presented them the active, and you want to get a feel for what they want from it, and if that's realistic or not. You know which way you're going. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, this is if they're unrealistic. Mr. and Mr. Seller, you bought stock last year and the stock was $49 per share. And today you want to sell the same stock and it's worth $25 per share. What could we sell it at? $25, right? I don't make the market, I interpret it, and the market is telling us we need to sell at market price. Try to find something that they would relate to more. Not everyone understands the stock market or cares about it. But, in your rapport building session, if you can pick up on something that you can relate that to, that'd be a lot better. Again, if we're in the seller's market, if we price it right, we could get multiple offers. Have you ever been to an auction or know how it works? Of course, everyone knows how an auction works, so we'll say yes. Then you know that price increases, so let's price it so we can get an increase instead of sitting on the market. So that's the same thing that I had to tell my seller. If you're right and we put it on lower, then we're just going to get multiple offers and maybe we'll get up to 270. I mean, there is a chance that it will happen. But if we start off at 270 and it sits for 30 days, we're going to end up with a lower price. We're going to end up with less than 260, even less than 250. So to get the best bang for your buck, you need to price it correctly. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, before I show you where buyers come from, according to the National Association of Realtors, I want to make certain you understand that I am not like all agents. See, many agents will list your house and they do what I call the 3 Ps of real estate. They will place your house on the multiple listing service, they will place a sign in your yard, and then pray someone else will sell it. I do the 4th and 5th Ps, which are prospect for buyers every day and price watch. So when they're talking about prospecting for buyers every day, we'll talk about that in the next session on scripts, but that would be if you're like calling for sale by owners and you're asking them where they're going to move when they sell the house themselves. So it's a particular script that you use so it looks like you're not trying to get their house sale, you're just trying to help them buy their next house. And so if you're doing that, then you can say that. Obviously, if you're not prospecting for buyers, I wouldn't tell your clients that you are. But you can tell them, I post properties on Facebook and I get buyers from that might be interested in your house, you know. I mean, you can go through the other ways in which you market, but just don't tell them you do things that you don't, please. That's not good. This means that as the market shifts daily, I'll be interpreting the market and giving you feedback on what's happening. You do want me to keep in touch and give you feedback, don't you? Yes, of course. Especially if you're calling expireds, the #1 reason they don't want to work with their last agent is because they did not communicate with them. So if you're like upfront saying like, listen, I'm going to communicate with you, I'm going to tell you what the market's doing, I'm going to tell you the feedback that we get from the house, and it's really easy for us, it's all done on showing time. So 90% of the agents, I would say, fill it out. I mean, it's not really useful information, but at least they fill it out. And we can say, oh, they're not interested. They said it's priced too high, or they said whatever it is you do get. Sometimes some will be helpful, but so it's a lot easier for us than maybe other agents because it's all done for us automatically. We don't have to send those emails. They're just done for us. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your husband or wife said you were moving to Florida, correct? Fantastic. When do you need to be, you needed to be there by. Again, this is the stuff you're going to find out in your rapport building session, where they need to be. Terrific. So what's important to you about going to Florida by September? How and why is that important to you? So ultimately, you're in Florida by September, and you've started your new job. Ultimately, what will all of that do for you? It will make me happy. I'll be in warmer weather. I won't have to shovel. It'll be amazing. Honestly, doesn't your family deserve all of that? Now, the reason you're saying all of this stuff is because you want to reiterate their goal. Because they need to feel the pain of their goal, as bad as that sounds, they need to feel the pain of their goal to be pushed to do what you know is the right thing to do, as far as pricing. Great, so my goal is to make that happen for you, and if you are as committed as I will, then you'll be in Florida by September. So I appreciate you being serious about getting your house sold. Now, as we continue to talk about getting your house sold and discussing what it will take, it's only natural for you to see why so many people choose me to get their house sold. In fact, during our conversation about the price of your house, it'll become obvious that I get more people more money for their house than other agents. You do want the most money possible, don't you? Because you want the most money, you will find it easy to choose me tonight. In fact, it will be easy for you to sign the contract so you can move forward with your dreams. Do I sound like a commercial yet? Let's start by looking at what's happening in the marketplace today. So that's when you're going to go to this one where buyers come from. This is what we already prefaced before. This is from the National Association of Realtors. I'll be completely honest with you. It's from like, I don't know, 2003. But it's still pretty accurate. So only 1% of people buy at an open house they saw. So if you're a newer agent, you may not want to use this because you're going to want to use their property for open houses because you want to get buyers. Will it probably sell their house? Probably not, but you will get buyers to sell other houses too. But for a combination of reasons. So that means either they started online and went to an open house, or they started online and then the agent called them, or you know, just any combination of reasons. They bought advertised property. That could be nothing online. So that would be like if they actually bought from like a real estate magazine or a newspaper. Referral by relocation service, 7%. Responded to an open house but purchased a different home, 8%. Responded to an ad but purchased a different home, 18%. 20% bought up a for sale sign, and 40% bought from name or firm recognition of the salesperson contact. So that means either you're calling them or they called you because they saw you listed the house next door to them and they didn't want to buy that house, but they wanted to buy a house from you. So they recognize your name from somewhere. So we talked to them about where the buyers come from, and then again, since we're in a seller's market, we would say, as I mentioned before, people are being told the market is hot and everything is selling. Let me give you a little reality. As a professional, I watch the market daily. You're going to reiterate this. How many houses were on the market? How many sold? How many didn't sell? Are you aware that we currently have X amount of number of houses for sale and only about X are selling per month? So what we need to do today is agree on a price, one that makes certain that your house is one of the small number of houses that are actually selling instead of the ones that are sitting on the market losing money day after day after day after day after day. So you understand that in today's market, we're entering the competition, right? If we price it right, then we could have multiple offers, and if we overprice it, well, it sits on the market. Sad face. Let's look at how you're going to win that competition. Let's look at what we're competing against and what the buyers will be choosing from. That's when you're going back to the comps and you're looking at what's actively on the market. And again, you ask them if they've seen the house or if they've seen any of them. And then, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, if you had to choose one of these houses, which one would you choose? We already talked about this. I kind of skipped ahead. On the next page is just useful phrases for pricing the property. Honestly, I've never gotten this far into the script. They don't really make you talk that much, I promise. But this is just if you have a hard seller. This is the script you would need. But generally, once you go over the comps with them and you look at their house and you talk with them about, you know, how much they need to pay off their mortgage, what they're looking to do, where they're looking to go, it's usually not as difficult as this makes it sound, I promise. And then the next page you have closing scripts. Like I said, if they're being difficult. Oh, this page is in the wrong. The last page is in the wrong spot. I'm sorry. This is what you would say after you go through the, well, this just breaks down what I already did about the NAR, the buyers, where they come from. And then this is where I talk about what Exit Realty Partners do and how we're different. So I would say Exit Realty Partners advertises your house in more locations on the internet than any other real estate company. We pay to promote our listings on Facebook. Again, if you don't say that, but I do. So I do say that. We have a private in-house Facebook page to let other agents in our office know about a property even before it hits the market. Sellers love that, to know that their house isn't even going to need to make it to the MLS and we might already have a buyer for it. And not a lot of other brokerages are doing that. So even though it seems like so minuscule to us, we're like, whatever, dude, it's a Facebook page. Like, we post properties. Who cares? It's actually a big deal to our sellers because they want their house to be on the market as little as possible. They don't want people coming in and out of their houses, you know, 17 times a day for months on end. They just want to get it gone. We have virtual tours on YouTube. So if you use eListings, it automatically uploads to your YouTube channel. So we can say that we're on YouTube. People aren't really buying houses on YouTube. And if someone says that, you can say you're absolutely right. People do not buy houses on YouTube. But the way that Google works is the more places you are, the higher you are in the Google rankings. So if you're on YouTube and you're on Facebook and you're on a website, then you're more likely, you have to be careful how you say that, you're more likely to be higher on Google is how I would say that exactly, because they're still not being on the first page of Google.
So the thing with the YouTube is stuff, I know, because on the MLS, you can't put like video tours on it, but if you know, most people find their houses on Zillow or Trulia anyway. You can put your YouTube video onto Zillow and Trulia. So people who search Salon Julia, they do the pictures, and there's also the video there too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can put a video from Zillow.
Oh,
Like
YouTube to
YouTube
Zillow
to
or
Zillow.
Trulia.
Yeah, you might be able to from Realtor.com too. It depends on their settings. Sometimes they.
Well, we're all just tricky with that.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
those are
What
pay
you
much
can
of this,
do.
pay for much of this.
Exactly. And this is where you would tell them whatever you do that makes you different than any other agent. So I don't know what that is, but that's where you want to really sell yourself and sell exit. And we are very technology based where other agencies are not. So that is a big selling point for us because millennials are the ones that are buying houses right now, and millennials all use technology. So if you're not using technology, then you're probably not selling houses. So that's very big. Definitely need to beef that up. And then you just say, so Mr. and Mrs. Seller, all we need to do is sign the contract so you can go to Florida, whatever, and get a bigger house, smaller house, whatever it is they want to go to. And then you put your sign in the yard and you get a key instead of a lockbox. And then the other selling point that I always tell, and it really depends on what you're going to do, but I always get professional photography done, mostly because I cannot take a picture to save my life. So I leave that stuff to the professionals, but I always say that on my listing appointment. I'm going to have a professional photographer come in. He's going to take pictures. You know, you're going to have the virtual tour. We're going to do an open house. I'm going to do another virtual tour. I make my own videos when I'm at the open house, either before or after, where I go through the house myself. Because our virtual tour, just in case you guys don't know, is just like a collage of pictures. So whatever pictures you upload, it just puts them in a slideshow. So at either before or after my open house, I do my own video to upload to YouTube and upload to Facebook and promote the house. What else? What do you do to sell your listing? Anything fun and exciting?
Not so much different other than videos and stuff.
A lot of videos.
Videos are key.
Video.
Sheila learned quick. Videos are key. All right, so let's talk about commission. Always get 6%. They'll take no for an answer, even if it's your first house out of the gate. How do you do that? So if it's a brand new listing, it's not that difficult. They don't really know what realtors charge. They ask, what do you charge? 6%. Okay, fine, no problem. They don't really know any different. If you go to an expired, that's a little tougher. So they've already had an agent and they could have been paying their other agent 4%, could have been paying their other agent 5%. So it's key to do your homework on expired. So you really want to look at their listing. You want to do some Google searches. You want to see if you can find it. You want to find the holes in what the last listing agent did. I mean, 99% of the time it's going to be the seller price is too high, but they don't want to hear that. So you need to find some other stuff to kind of go along with that. So if another agent didn't hire a professional photographer and all the pictures are dark and
Of toilets.
what?
Of toilets.
Of toilets, or they're upside down, or they have people in them, or they have clutter, trash. Gotta be careful when you talk about their stuff, but you just sell the fact that you do professional photography. You're gonna have a professional photographer come out and take the pictures. You can give them advice on decluttering. I have to say that one very nicely too. I like to say, I'm going to give you some advice on how to make your house appear to be bigger. Really declutter. And so then when you're in an expired and they're telling you, why am I going to pay you 6% when I only paid my last agent 5%? You say, well, your other agent didn't do X, Y, and Z. Also ask, before all of this comes down, why do you think your house didn't sell with the other agent? Well, they never got back to me. We didn't have any showings, or we had 50 showings and no offers. We couldn't get a hold of him. We'd call him 50 times a day and he wouldn't call us back.
You know the one I hear the most? We didn't do an open house.
Really?
Really?
No.
I don't think I've
I
ever heard that.
I heard that probably 10 times.
Well, you better be the open house king then.
Yeah.
Open house every weekend. Yeah, so you need to find out what their problem was. The one I hear all the time is that they don't call back. My agent didn't communicate with me. I couldn't get a hold of them. They didn't answer my questions. That's what I hear. And then you just tell yourself on those goals. And then if they're still fighting with you over commission, as long as you have gone over a thorough marketing plan, I know I kind of like went over that pretty quickly, but it's really individual based. So like there's a lot of things that I do that maybe you guys wouldn't be comfortable doing, or you don't have like the knowledge or skill set yet to do. So once you present your marketing plan and it's amazing, no matter what you're going to do, it's going to be amazing. Like even if all you say is, I'm just going to open house it every single weekend. There are other agents that don't do that. So know that that is a value-added service that your seller should want. Then you can say to them, that's fine. If you'd like me to take it for 5%, I can certainly do that. But as you know, part of my commission includes your marketing costs. So if I'm going to cut my commission, then I'm also going to need to cut your marketing. So which areas would you like me to cut it in? And they're not going to want you to cut their marketing. Marketing is the key to selling their house. And you need to remind them that. Marketing is the key to selling your house. But if you'd like me to cut my commission, I'll happily do that for you. But where would you like me to cut your marketing? And you can always bring it back to the last agent. The last agent didn't sell your house because they took your listing at 5%, so they didn't have the budget to do the marketing. They may not have told you that. They may not have been upfront and honest with you. But everybody gets paid, so if you're getting paid less, you're cutting corners. Now, am I telling you? I mean, I did tell you never to take less than 6, and I really do mean that. Try to never take less than 6. There are occasions where you do need to take less than 6, but just don't make that your fallback. Don't go in there and ask for 5. I mean, then you're going to go. If you start at 6 and you end up at 5 or 5.5, you're still doing great. If you start at 5, then you're going to 4, and you don't want to go to 4. You don't want to go to 4. I mean, think about 4% on a $100,000 house. After your splits and everything, taxes, marketing, you're not left with much. So, and really, 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 I cannot stress this enough, please pick your battles on when you're going to lower your commission. Because that stays with you. If you do it for 5 for one person, and then they refer you to their next friend, that next friend is going to expect you to do it for 5 for them, and then that next, and then just done. So just, and if you do it, make sure they know you're making a special exception. I generally do not work for less than 6%. However, because of X, Y, and Z, I will help you out this time, and I will do it for 5%. But please don't tell other people, because generally I work for 6%. And then they'll appreciate you more too, because they'll be like, yeah, she gave me a discount. She really cares about me. She feels bad for me. The other line I always use is I always say, I work for 6%. However, at the end of the day, I will not let my commission come between you and your buyer. So what does that mean? That means if the buyer isn't offering as much as the seller wants and there's a difference of $500, I'll discount my commission $500. Still not down 1%. My contract still says 6%. If they come in at full asking price or above, I don't have to cut my commission. But the sellers hear that and they think, okay, well, yes, she has to get paid too, but she cares about me and she's not going to let me not sell my house.
So you put that in the
I don't put that anywhere.
No?
I just say that.
Oh.
If they asked me to put it in my contract, I would, but they've never asked me to put it in my contract. Because
Did you ever have to do that, actually?
cut my commission? Unfortunately. Not a lot.
Or do they forget that you did it?
No, generally, I mean, we're selling their house at or above asking, or like, you know, a little bit less, but they generally don't ask. No. Because then I would have to remind them of all the work I did and how I earned all that money. Especially if their house sold in like a day or like 2 weeks or something. Like, even if they didn't get full asking price, they only had it on the market for, a week or two. And I generally, as long as the market supports it, I generally price it for higher than what they need because I like wiggle room in all areas. So obviously I'm not overpricing anything, but if there's some room, like in this instance, I'm happy to go to 260 even though it's probably going to sell for 250. It's only $10,000. There's wiggle room if buyer needs, closing cost, if stuff comes up at inspection. So those are the tricks to get 6%. You can also, if you'd like, as a buyer's agent, you can attach an addendum to all your offers and ask the listing agent to pay you 3% no matter what is offered in MLS. I personally do not do that, but you can do that if you'd like.
Well, Mario went over that one time.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that Facebook post? There's supposedly some issue with that.
Yes, so you're supposed to submit your addendum before you see the property. If you schedule an appointment to see the property, you're accepting whatever is offered in MLS. So if you'd like to get paid more, you should submit it beforehand. I would honestly just suggest taking what's in MLS. I'm all about money, trust me. That's why I take 6% of my listings. But it's way more hassle to ask for more money than your buyers. But I just want you guys to know that you can do that. Totally can. If you want to, I'll help you, but I just don't do it. I just want my buyers to buy their house. I'll just take what they give me. It's fine. I mean, could you imagine telling someone they weren't getting their house because you wanted 3%?
What's more important, a good review or that?
Exactly.
Because review gets you
Exactly.
more clients than anything.
Exactly. I personally would never want to have that conversation. So, any other questions on commission, listing appointments, comping out houses, anything in general? No. What time is it? 2:30? An hour? I'm good.
We're good.
All right, well, we'll stop recording. I have to get the other stuff for the other. Do you see it stop? Is that stop, Chelsea?
Yeah, that's stop.
Because he said just exit everything out. My office to get the script stuff.
Yeah. Like ready to go?
Yes.
Oh, God, when I saw that, the whole thing from like, no. Yeah, I would get sick. I was on the computer all day. I woke up. Yeah, I know. And I go, you think we're going to afternoon? He's like, I don't know. I was like, okay, that's funny because I was leaving my house, like going to it. And I'm in the summer. I was like, hey, hi. Awful. It's like 4 layers of wallpaper with like heavy duty glue. It will not come off for all the rooms. Maybe since you 7 rooms, this one is the worst. I'm just in there like this. It's never ending.
Good.
Ugh.
Can I hire somebody?
Oh gosh, I'll just go up there all the time. Yeah, and I mean, my dad's up there watching. He's been doing so much. We have an electrician up plumber.
Are we recording
guys
this
on
one
the
too?
wall. It's like the old fort there. So we're trying to just get and we're actually hiring someone to paint to get that whole student. And then I'll probably paint my own unit. Their unit will just be. Yes. I hope. obviously Craigslist. And you wanted me to go in today and take pictures of all the rooms on the second unit. The guy who's skimming the walls will be done this weekend. I was like, we're gonna wait till all this junk out, sweep the floors, I'll pull up all the junk floor and stuff. He said, okay. He wanted me to take it today. I was like, no way. There's no way.
And the outside is kind of tough to do.
So
Like,
if it's horrific, I apologize in advance. All right, you guys ready?
ready.
Get this over with. Have you guys all been here all day?
Yeah.
It's great. Well, I'll be quick. You can leave early, okay?
Yeah.
If I can remember how he said to start recording.
Play.
Yeah.
Try to
Play?
Yeah.
Yeah, the
This?
blue button.
Yeah. On air.
Okay. All right, so now we're going to talk about scripts. All kinds of scripts and objection handlers. Most of these are for the phone. There are a couple when we go to farming. Well, there I think it's one. If you actually go door to door. So do you guys all know what an expired listing is? I know I talked about it before, but okay. So you're calling expireds. All right, do you know how to get their numbers? Should I go that far?
Full directory now.
That would be probably a really difficult way to do it. Because
Okay, I don't.
Cole's more for farming.
Oh.
So you, or just listed and just sold. So you put in an area. You can like, it's pretty cool, guys. You can put in like an address and then put like 1 mile, and it'll give you all the people who live there, names, addresses, and phone numbers. Or you can like draw your own, like, it'll give you all the names and numbers in that shape that you've drawn. Or you can say, no, I just said that. You put an address and then put how many miles. So that's more for farming or just listed and just sold.
The folder.
In the Cole.
I haven't seen it, so I don't.
Yeah, I have it. 'Cause I have it. I had it before we had it.
Oh.
So if you want to get expired, I don't know how to use this computer and do the same. So you go to MLS and you put in the time frame for which you want them to have expired. So if you want the ones that expired in the last 6 months, you put in that time frame. And then you click, where's my little sheet? You click on expired right here in the status. This is where you would put the time frame. And then if there's any other factors you want to look at. So I only call expireds that are 200,000 and over because I want my average price point to be 200,000. So if I get something that's under, obviously I'll take it. But when I'm calling or prospecting, I only want to call over 200. So I put 200 as my low, and I don't have a high. And then you pick the areas, the towns that you want to call, or the zip code. And then if you have specifications about like how many bedrooms you want, if you only want to call 3 bedrooms because they're easier to sell, you just put it in there. And then you click search, and it's going to come up with a bunch of addresses. And then you need to print that out. Then you need to individually go into each link and make sure it's actually still expired, because some of them get reactivated or go back on the market. So you need to make sure it's still actually expired by clicking on the link and then going to, it looks like a book in MLS on the right-hand side at the top. And, no, I lied, the clock. The clock will tell you if it's still active. Still expired. And then you have to click the book, and the book will tell you the owner's name and if they actually live at that address or if they live at a different address. This is really confusing. Had I known I was going to talk about this, I would have printed it all out for you. So if any of you need help pulling expireds, call me. I'll come in and show you how to do it. No problem. So then you have to go to 411.com, and you have to do a reverse address search.
401.
411?
411. Oh.
Yep.
Because I've tried.
Both, yep.
favorite people is like PITL.
I've never heard of it.
That's worked pretty well. But sometimes
Awesome.
you get hung up on. So,
Of all the ones I've used that are free, 411.com is the best, but obviously I haven't used all of them. So, and then you put in the address, either the listing or the address that's listed in the public records as where they actually live, and then you try to match names. If you can match a name, you click on the name, it'll give you the phone number. There you go, expired. You can also buy expired invisible lists. Once you get going, get more money, you can buy automatic dialers with that.
services.
All of them.
Have you had good luck with them, or do you think it's worth it?
It depends on how much money you have to spend. The good ones are expensive. For me, the time I save in having to look them up is worth it all day long. But that depends on how much money you have to spend. The most accurate one is Vulcan 7, and it's $300 a month. And it gives you cell phones, landlines, and email addresses.
No, it's still open for this area, because I know they only go to a certain number.
They say that it's open.
It's open.
Yeah. Cool. I'm trying out a new one called Espresso Agent, which is a CRM and a dialer, and it pulls expireds and FISBOs. So far I've tried everything else except actually calling the number, so I'll get back to you on that. It just has so much cool stuff to play with that I'm busy like playing with all the other cool stuff. So
How much is that one?
that one's $50 for the first month and $150 after.
Oh, it's a little bit cheaper than the phone.
Yeah, and it does way more than Vulcan, which I already love, but I just don't know
Does it
about.
do emails?
It does video emails. So it replaces my BombBomb too. And if you pay for Cole, I don't know how it would work with the office paying for Cole, but if you pay for Cole directly, it will pull the Cole numbers into your dialer. So you can keep track of everything in one place.
So that's pretty cool. What's the name of that one again?
Espresso Agent? Yes.
You call them and then they say everybody else in the sun's already called them.
I don't think they have a limit.
No, I'm just saying when you call,
Oh, the expired?
the expires in the,
Sometimes no one calls them. It really depends.
Does it also give you the email addresses too, or?
Yeah. Yep, they give you the emails, and you can import your own emails, and you can import your own lists and stuff like that.
And you can send them a video.
You can send them a video.
My
Uh-huh.
Does it tell you open rates?
That I don't know yet. I'm still using BombBomb. I haven't canceled them yet. So obviously BombBomb helps me to open. So I don't know about that yet.
what's open rate?
You can see how many people actually opened your email and how many clicked on your video. So video emails where it's at, peeps. Facebook in general is where it's at.
I like it.
I know. You're all over the place. You're all over it, Sheila. You do more videos a week than I do. It's great.
I do it every day.
See, I wish I had.
To send the people?
I do, yeah. I send it to people every day.
And post them on Facebook.
Did you record yourself?
Mhm.
I'll follow your Facebook, see what you're doing. Okay. But it's just your name. Yep. Sheila Berger. I don't know about the video email. I want to click on that. I would do it. Crash my computer.
I started testing out videos for expired. I'll let you know how it works. I don't have enough data to tell you. But yeah, I made a video telling you to list with me.
Have you send the same video for you?
Send the same video to everyone.
You do clusters?
Yeah, I do.
You don't kind of personalize it?
No, that would take forever.
No?
It would take a long time.
You'd have to re-record.
No? Really? As long as it takes you to say their name.
Yep.
If you have their names.
Yep.
That's it. Everything else you can record and stitch it right together and it goes right up.
That's way above my head. Way above my head. I don't even edit my videos.
It was
Leon.
like she does that.
I shoot my videos and I send them. I don't even edit them.
You send
at
them right
all.
off of here?
Yeah. I do.
I didn't know how to edit it either. I'd be like that.
If I watch it, if I don't like it, I do it again. That's how I edit it.
How are these services capturing numbers and emails?
I
Like,
have
like how did you get
no
my
idea.
email number? They-
And that's not quick.
That's
I have no idea. I don't care. As long as they're accurate.
I think they got it from
You
MySpace.
just re-recorded.
Age, sex, location.
That's why all the emails don't work. Now I know.
ASL, please.
At least it's not AOL. At least it's MySpace. I mean, we're
Yeah, that's right, a little bit more advanced.
they were still okay. That's great. All right, so you're gonna call your expireds. We've just went through the process of how to find them. If you buy one of the services, they just come up. You click, they're there. You don't have to do anything else.
What's the accuracy rate for that one express?
I just told you I don't know. Sorry. I'll get on it, okay? I'll make expired calls all week and I'll come back and like, no.
What time of the day do you do that? It's best for that.
And
Dinner time.
Dinner time?
anytime, don't listen to Chris. Anytime.
Why would he set me up like that?
Because he's
Midnight.
mean. That's why he doesn't teach the
Do it at
classes.
midnight.
Do it at midnight.
Actually,
Joking.
2 a.m.
2
2 a.m. when they're coming home from the bar. Perfect.
Yeah.
I accept.
Hello,
I
too.
don't wanna
Come
do
on
that.
over.
That's my cutoff, 8 o'clock.
That's a good cutoff. I would just suggest the most important part, even more important than script, believe it or not, is your tracking system, because you want to know when you're calling people. So everyone works different shifts. Like it's not everyone works 9 to 5, and not everyone works Monday through Friday. So different people have different days off. So you really need to like track when you're calling who and try them on different days and at different times. Be able to get them.
Do you leave messages if
Yes, I do. I leave a message saying, "Hi, I'm calling about your property out 3 Main Street. I just have a couple questions. Can you give me a call back?
What's your
Thanks.
callback
My
rate?
number is 774 blah, blah, blah."
What's your callback rate?
It's still low, but hey, whatever. I have gotten called back.
Do you incorporate LinkedIn into this?
No.
On your call back, get them.
you don't tell
Yeah,
them,
you like,
Ah.
do I get it?
wait, you don't tell them when you leave the message you're from Exit Realty?
Absolutely not. Do you want them to call you back?
Oh, so you don't drop Exit Realty at all?
No. Not when you leave
You're
a
an agent,
message.
They're not calling.
Yeah.
Just say I have a couple
Good
questions about your property.
Yep, I have a couple questions about your property, or sometimes I'll shake it up and be like, "Oh, I'm just calling about 123 Main Street. I was wondering if it's still for sale." They don't know how you found out it's for sale because it's not on the internet.
So what happens when they call back? Oh, if I'd known you as a realtor, I wouldn't have called.
Script 5 feet.
I don't have a script for that. No, you just call when they call back and they say, "Oh, this is like Joe Smith. I'm calling. You called me about my house at 123 Main Street. What can I help you with?" Ask questions. Are you still looking to sell it? Yes. Do you have an agent you're working with? No.
Are you an agent? And they go,
Exactly.
if you say yes.
And then you call back a day or two later.
By then they got your number on block.
Take the negativity and go out the door. This is difficult
You know
enough.
what I found with the expired, what most people have found is they get discouraged because you call 10 numbers, 10
Yeah, and
people
they stop.
either 10 go or they hang up on you, and then people get discouraged and they stop calling.
Yep.
You gotta get past that discouraged part.
It's
the
rejection,
hardest
like
part.
over.
It is, absolutely. So you should just go into it knowing that you're going to get rejected. And then when someone talks to you, it's like a win. That's how I do it.
That's why you do video.
Try
You don't
mind
hear
texting.
rejection for video, right?
Still like they're just- I'm gonna look at one of you guys' videos. Where do you post your, oh, you send them off? You don't post them anywhere?
I do post them. My Facebook page is Worcester Real Estate Team.
Oh, you're Worcester Real Estate Team?
I am.
You work with
You've seen
Tina.
me, eh?
So I might have to pick your brains after.
Okay.
I think
You work with
actually,
Tina, right?
I do. We talked about her at the party. I just sold her condo.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Last
That's what I
week
saw
we
that.
closed.
That's all.
Oh, no, maybe I'm not, you used to like Worcester One or something like that.
Oh, Brian.
That's them.
Brian.
One Worcester Homes.
One Worcester Homes, that's who I wanted. Say sorry.
Oh,
I can still think you're right.
Fine.
Oh.
Brian won't be able to tell you anything about anything on Facebook. He doesn't run it himself.
Who owns this Facebook?
Lori, right? Doesn't Lori do it now?
Lori does it, yeah, but
He killed
But
me last Sunday with
John-
the first time buyer summit. I came to
Who's
Well,
Lori?
that's what I'm doing. I'm
It's
hosting
Lori.
2 first-time home buyers in my neighborhood, and I wanted to talk to the team that hosts them.
that's us.
Oh, is you?
Yeah.
So I'm completely.
We do them. We have one on the 19th.
Uh,
If you want to come,
Yeah, I might
yeah.
come and sit on.
It's Saturday, 12 to 2, here, right here.
My first one's March 21st, so that'd be great.
Perfect. Come on down.
So
We'll
you're
show you
doing
how we do it.
Home buyer seminar this next Saturday,
The 19th.
19th? Oh, sorry. I'm
A
not
little
sure.
while.
Yeah.
So wait, who
Okay.
maintains his page for him?
I believe Lori does it now, but when he first started, Brian and I started together, so I know it's a whole life story. And I used to be on that team. He had a guy named John Thompson who ran it, who's what got him like the bazillion likes he has on Facebook. But they pay a lot of money for that.
For
We
the
do
likes?
we do ours organically.
So they do a lot of sponsored
Yeah.
ads type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, we do sponsored ads too. Don't get me wrong, but
Don't
lot of
buy,
it.
don't buy likes.
ours. Yeah, you shouldn't buy
Do
likes.
not buy
Just
likes
promote
on
your
Facebook.
ads.
Like seriously, don't buy likes.
We're
on Facebook.
talking
I didn't
about
know that was
scripts
even
so
an
much
option.
right now.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Well, it's not buying. It's not
It's
really
only
buying
on your
likes.
business page.
It's when so when you go to like the thing, it says advertise my thing so people like it. Don't do that. It drops your engagement because most of those likes
Chris
are
is going
click
to
farms.
teach this class another day.
They're like click farms. They're like click farms, and it drops your engagement. Your organic reach goes down the toilet, and then your paid reach actually sucks because it's compared to your organic. It's just a mess. Don't buy likes ever.
You just want to.
If you want to talk about Facebook, talk to Chris. Definitely do it.
Coming up. Wait, you just
Yeah,
want
I need to talk to you.
like a Facebook post.
Yeah, but you should probably talk to Chris. Just saying.
You just want to pay for the boosts, right?
Yeah, Bruce, you probably.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Which is the thing.
No.
You say your own budget.
Yeah, it's like
Well, not anymore.
Yeah.
Website clicks are $5 minimum a day now.
Can you tell I don't run my Facebook page either?
Yes, if you.
I just post and tell him what to boost.
Oh, he does it for you?
No, I wish.
Sure.
Who does
I don't know.
yours?
I have no idea what I'm
Who
doing.
does yours?
It's Mark Shea from Sierra Pacific.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Oh, we
lunch
know
tonight.
Mark.
We're gonna do that lunch thing.
You are?
No, what? Can you call me?
Oh, yeah, I need your number because I don't have it and he asked me for it. I already set it up.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to scripts. Now that we know all about Facebook and how to get our expires. All right, so you're gonna call. I'll read these scripts to you, and then I'll literally tell you guys what I actually say. I highly suggest that if you're gonna make calls, and I highly suggest that you do make calls. It's the cheapest way to get business when you first start because it's free. Get a role play partner and role play because I can tell you that realtors are the toughest customers. They know the objections and the harder, like if Sheila and I are role playing and she's like just giving me a super duper hard time, then I pick up the phone and someone just says like, I don't know, I think I'm going to stay with my other realtor. It's like so much easier because I've just dealt with like the hardest customer on the planet. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like if you use these objection handlers in the back when you're role playing and you practice them, then they become like second nature to you.
But the biggest thing also, when you do actually get to talk to an expired, and they do actually want to meet with you, be like really concise, like give them 2 times. Because if you're like, well, I'm free. What's your schedule like? No, tomorrow 5, Wednesday 3.
Yeah.
That's it.
You
Don't
want
give
to,
them options. You give them options, they're gone.
yes. And you want to also appear busy. Like you're the busiest realtor in the business. Like you only have 2 time slots available. And then if they can't fit in those 2 time slots, oh, maybe I can squeeze you in. Let me see. Oh, you know what? I can squeeze you in at this 3rd time. When really you've got nothing going on all week and you can fit them in any time you want, but you don't want them to know that. And before you offer them 2-time slots, find out what their work schedule is. Do you work days or nights? Is there a day you have off? Okay, I have. Because you don't want to give out 2-time slots and both of them are while they're working.
Well, can you give them 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock?
What if they work 3 to 11? See, my way's better. All right, so hello, Mr. Seller. This is Sabrina with Exit Realty. I always, after I say that, ask how they are because you want to get them engaging as soon as possible. Because if they're actually having a conversation with you, it's harder for them to hang up on you. That's the trick. And then, whatever, they're good. Right? Awesome, happy to hear that. Mr. Seller, the reason I'm calling today is that I noticed that your home expired after multiple listing service, and I was wondering if you're still looking to sell. Say yes? Great. When can I come take a look at the house today at 3 or tomorrow at 4? No. Then you ask what has changed. And then it's just a conversation from there. It says see objection handlers and obviously look at those. But it's just a conversation after that. It's, what has changed? Oh, well, we were going to have to move for work, but now my wife didn't get that job, so now we're staying here. Or, we were going to sell because we wanted to go to Florida, but we decided that, but then my daughter had a baby and I'm going to stay home and watch the baby, so we're not going to Florida anymore. Whatever. Basically, I just gave you a bunch of answers, a bunch of things you don't have answers for, because, what are you going to do if they say, oh, we don't have the job anymore?
You just gotta be quick in your mind and just
Exactly.
roll with it.
Exactly.
You don't want to sound like a robot because if you a lot of times, a lot of people would like just reading while they're talking, then you sound like a robot.
Exactly. That's why role playing is important because then it sounds more natural. And you learn inflection is super important, especially when you're on the phone. They can't see your face. They can't see your body language. So how your voice inflects is most important. So if you're role playing, and when you role play, like if Sheila and I are role playing, then we role play, we do it, great. And then at the end, if Sheila's the realtor, then Sheila would be like, if Sheila's the realtor and I'm the client, then I would say, Sheila, these are things that you did well. These are things you could improve on. Because the whole goal of you guys role playing together is so you can both get better. And there was a reason I was going there. I don't know what it was, but inflection is key, I guess. I guess that's where I was going. But yeah, so it's more natural and it's more of a conversation. The more you get them engaged, the less likely they are to hire you. I can tell you guys that 90% of the trouble, I guess, or the hard part is getting the appointment. If you get the appointment, you're 99% getting that listing because you've already got past the hard part. They couldn't see you. All they could do was hear you, and you said something that caught their attention, especially if they're getting called by 97 other realtors that day, and you're the one they set up an appointment with. So if you can get this down, you'll be very successful. So the next script says, hello, Mr. Seller. Oh, lovely typing error. Hello, Mr. Seller. Thank you for taking my call today. This is Sabrina with Exit Realty. I'm certain that by now you know your house has shown up on the expired listing on our multiple listing service, and undoubtedly I'm calling to see when you plan to hire the right agent for the job to sell your house. I don't think I've ever used that script in my life, but hey, go for it.
I found most people going at multiple listings. I just say it's not online anymore.
Oh, that's good. I've had multiple listing service and no one's ever asked me what that is. If I say MLS, they don't know what MLS is. They definitely don't know what the MLS is. But if you say multiple listing service, somehow they know what that is. I don't know. And sometimes, guys, they don't know their house expired, and that is awesome. Because then you can be like, your agent didn't tell you that your listing expired? Oh my goodness. That's horrible. When can I come over and tell you how I get houses sold? Hello! Thank you for taking my call. This is Sabrina with Exit Realty. Your house has shown up on the multiple listing service as an expired listing. Since I specialize in houses that didn't sell the first time, I was wondering when we could get together so I can show you how I get houses sold. I do use that one. My team specializes in selling houses that did not sell the first time. People like to hear that. It's great, especially in something they need. So that's really it for expireds. It's really all the same thing. You want to tell them their house expired off multiple listing service and you want to sell it. So any way you can say that, go for it. The next script is for farming. So if you're farming, you've picked an area that you're marketing to in multiple different ways. So I farm 01606. I throw a block party there every year. We used to do mailers. We really don't do them anymore. We door knock that area.
You know, mailers are making like huge, like direct mails actually.
You throw a block party?
I do, every year. We had 500 people last year.
Where's
Wow.
this?
Where is it?
Ferncoat.
Ferncoat.
Bunko.
That's my new territory.
Get out. I will stab you. Oh shoot, this is
Really?
recorded.
Do you like choose a certain street or do you have to get?
I
A permit?
contacted, I might have to get a permit this year, but until the police tell me I need a permit, I'm not getting one.
Just remember, it's always better to ask for forgiveness
Then
than
for
permission.
permission. Absolutely. So what we do is we contacted a church that's in the area that has, it's like a huge front yard and has huge parking too, which is key. It's on the main road, it's on Verco, and they let us use their spot for free. And then we contact local businesses in the area and ask them to donate money to the event. And we get like moon bounces and like, you know, those balls that the kids get in and they like hit each other, you know, like run at each other. And we provide food and goodie bags that have no business card in them. And we have a DJ and we do like picnic races and stuff like that. Like,
People liability for that?
what?
People have liability for that?
No, the church, it's covered under the churches. Yeah. So, and we hand out flyers to the schools so they know it's coming, and we do send out mailers for that, inviting all of the neighbors to come. And all of our sponsors get on all that stuff, so that's why they obviously sponsor it, because they get free advertising. So it costs about $5,000, give or take, to put on.
How much of a response have you gotten? Have you gotten a lot of business from that?
The
Can you track that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can track everything. The first year we only had 30 people and I got 2 pieces of business out of it. Last year we had 500 people, but we didn't have enough volunteers, so basically I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And so we had several people come up and tell us they wanted to buy and or sell, but we were too busy to take down their information actually running the event. So we lost all of those business, all of that business. So this year, we will have more volunteers so that I don't have to do everything and I can actually capitalize on the business. But we have them all in our database and we can still follow up with all of them. So maybe we can still gain business someday. We'll see. But it's great for brand recognition and it doesn't cost us anything because we get everyone else to sponsor it. So
Oh, you said it cost $5,000, but all that was money that you were able to raise?
Yep.
Okay.
Where do you advertise for that? On Facebook or?
oh, you didn't see my video, Sheila?
No, I'm sorry.
So
Didn't know
sad.
more.
When was?
Yeah,
when
I
was-
know.
When is this?
How did you miss that?
There was like a million. So every time a new business sponsored us, I went in front of the business and made a video
Oh.
plugging the Worcester real estate team and plugging the event. Then we put flyers in. Last year we only did 3 of the schools in the neighborhood. This year we're going to do 5. And we sent 1,200 mailers to all of the neighbors. I think that's how the only ways we promoted it. We might have put some flyers in some of the businesses that sponsored it too. And we had a Facebook event. But really it was the videos.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So if you pick an area that you want to farm,
Like Ferncoat?
stay away from Burn Cove. I got enough competition over there with David Stead.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm going at.
She
Seriously.
just rolled her eyes at you.
And he's blinking his
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. This car's gonna have 4 flat tires. What? Who would do such a thing? Real estate is not competitive at all. So if you decide to pick an area to farm, this is a script. The first one is to call, and the second one is if you actually knock door to door. I would suggest that if you're going to farm an area that you start a newsletter. A lot of services make them fairly cheap if you email them instead of printing and mailing them. I think I have a disc that does one. That's what it's called, right? CD-ROM? I don't use them. But I do have one for some system I bought. And there's a newsletter on there, so if you guys need it, you can have it. Or you can borrow it and bring it back in case other people need it.
No, a bunch of us should pull together and get a book.
A what?
Yes,
I'm
I
in
would
for that.
totally
am
be
so
down.
in for
I would
that.
totally
What
be
is
down
it?
for that. A bulk
Bulk
stamp.
stamp.
Okay.
So it costs, what's it cost, $200 to set up?
Yeah, and then we'll see what's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I agree. You get a discount on all your mail. So if you send a lot of mail, good.
It's all gonna be uniform. Each mailing is gonna be uniform. So if you're doing like postcards or pamphlets or newsletters, it's all fine.
So this is the script you would use if you were going to call. Hello, is Mr. Owner there? Thanks for taking my call. This is Sabrina with Exit Realty, and I specialize in our area of Burncoat. I just wanted to let you know what's happening in Burncoat, and then you give them some information, anything you found out on Google, whatever. The schools are doing an event, like in Burncoat, Thorndike does, they do an Apple Fest in the fall, and they do like some other stuff. I don't know, but just if you find out anything that's going on, that would be a good time to call. So you can call and tell them about that. Like my block party, I could call and tell all these people about the block party. Mind you, also when we door knock, we remind them about the block party. When we knock on the door, we say, hi, this is Sabrina with the Worcester Real Estate Team and Exit Realty. You know, we do the Burncoat block party every summer, and we're just coming around to see if you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell. Remind them. Remind them what you do. So then it's not useless. And if we didn't actually get any business from the block party, we're like, oh, that's nice. Exactly. If a new restaurant's opening up, new construction, anything that's going on, just tell them. Also, I'm conducting a quick survey for our newsletter to find out the 3 reasons why people enjoy living in your area. What do you like best about it? Anything else? Is there anything you would change in our area? I have buyers in our area from time to time, and I would like to know, how did you happen to choose this area? Wow, there's a lot of spelling errors on here. I'm sorry. This is what happens when you do this at 7 o'clock at night, and there's only WordPad, no spell check. How did you happen to choose this area? If you were to move, where would you go next? Great. When might that be? So you're trying to like position them to find out if they're moving anytime soon and where they're going to move to. Thanks for taking a moment to help me, and I'm curious, by chance, do you know of anyone from the neighborhood or even at work that is wanting to sell a home or buy a home and are in need of a great realtor? When I complete the survey, I'd like to send you the results as well as what is happening in home sales so you can track what your home is worth. I send this information via email. What is your email address? Then you can start sending them videos, Sheila, if you get their email address. And you can also email the newsletter. Thanks again, and I'll send out the results along with the sales that are taking place in our area each month. Keep my name in mind, and once again, it's Sabrina Kelsey with Exit Realty. And then if you're farming door to door, hello, Mr. Owner. My name is Sabrina from Exit Realty. How are you doing today? I stopped by today to personally deliver your free copy of our neighborhood newsletter. It has news about the neighborhood, including upcoming events and activities such as yard sales, school activities, etc. There's also great coupons from local stores and restaurants, as well as information about the real estate market in this neighborhood. So that's another way to help you pay for a newsletter. Like if you, like say, order it from like Vista, I don't even know if Vista does newsletters, but if you like get it online somewhere and there's a cost associated with it, you can go to the local businesses in the area and ask them if they want to advertise in it and offer a coupon. Then people will want your newsletter because they're saving money on something, and the businesses in the area want to advertise, like especially like pizza places, that's their market right there. Like if you charge them like $100 a month to deliver to 1,200 people or even 500 people, like I don't know why they wouldn't do that with a little coupon that says like, I don't know, half off pizza on Friday or whatever. They always have specials. So that's another way you can help pay for your newsletters if you decide to do them. If you're planning a yard sale or another event, call me and I'll advertise the event in the newsletter for free. Are you planning on buying or selling a piece of real estate in the next 6 months? If yes, set an appointment. If no, do you happen to know anyone else who's looking to buy or sell? Obviously, it's important to get yard sales, other events in there because you want the newsletter to be more about the community than it is about real estate. Like obviously, yes, you want to put real estate in there because that's why we do it, but people will want it more if it's about the neighborhood. You can do that stuff with Facebook too. You can start community pages. We have a Burnco community page. And so we put like when dogs are lost or when cars are getting broken into or anything that happens in the community, anything we see online that relates to Burnco, we put it on our community page. And then every time I have a listing in the area, I just throw it on there. So just listed and just sold, that's what you can get from Cole Resource if you have a listing. So if you're brand new and you don't have any listings, you can just go online and find out like an exit listing that you want to use. So if it's in a price point or an area you want to work in, use that one. You get, Jeannie will do it for you. You just tell her the address and tell her how far around it you want, and she'll give you the list of names and numbers to call. And then you can say your listing, even though it's not your listing, because it's with exit. So you say, our office just listed, our office
Yeah,
just
don't say
sold.
I listed.
Yes,
Say our office.
exactly.
Say hi.
That's easy to research. You just have to drive by it. So don't do that. So if you're going to make the calls, you would say, hello, is Mr. Owner there? Hi, Mr. Owner. Thanks so much for taking my call. This is Sabrina with Exit Realty. I wanted you to be the first to know that I just listed or just sold, depending on who you're calling, a home in your neighborhood located at 123 Main Street. It has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths and a 2-car garage. Do you know anyone from work or friends that would like to buy a home in this area? If yes, get their names and numbers and ask if it's okay to mention the owner. Because obviously if you call them and you say, Joe Smith told me that you were looking to buy or sell in this area, they're obviously more apt to talk to you than some strange realtor just calling them out of the blue when they didn't solicit any information from you. If they say no, say thanks for taking a minute to think about that. By the way, it was priced at whatever, $400,000. You want to sneak that in because maybe they weren't thinking about selling, but now you just told them how much that house sold for and they just realized how much money they could make and maybe you just made them change their minds. One last question. With interest rates as low as they are, have you thought about investing in real estate? If you're interested or hear of anyone else who is interested, call me. This is Sabrina with Exit Realty. Thanks so much. I appreciate your time. Or the alternate script is, hello, is Mr. Owner there? Hi, Mr. Owner. Thanks for taking my call. This is Sabrina with Exit Realty, and I wanted you to be the first one to hear that the home located at 123 Main Street just sold or just listed. And if you're like me, you like to keep on top of the prices of homes in our area. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, and it was listed at $400,000. I had quite a few buyers look at this home and are still looking to buy a home in this area. So by chance, do you know anyone who's looking to sell? Do you know anyone from work or friends that would be in that would like to buy in this area? Thanks for your time. So that's pretty like straightforward. You're just trying to get new listings for sale by owners. So this is what I was talking about earlier with the prospecting for buyers. This is the script for that. So you'd say, hello, thank you for taking my call. I'm Sabrina with Exit Realty, and I was curious, when your home sells, where are you moving to? Most likely they're going to ask you why, because we live in New England where people want to know why you want to know their business. And then you would say, every day I proactively look for buyers for my sellers. I figured since you were selling, you may be looking for a new place to buy. Isn't that what you would want your agent? Isn't that what you would want an agent working for you to do? I mean, if you hired an agent. And then whatever they say, you say, most agents do the 3 Ps of real estate: place a sign in the yard, put it on MLS, pray that it sells. I do the 4th P, which is prospecting. I actively prospect to find buyers for the houses I have listed. If they actually answer you and tell you where they're moving to, then you would say, that's exciting. How soon do you need to be there? Good for you. Now that you decide to sell your house, how would you rate your motivation on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being the highest? Excellent. Just out of curiosity, how did you determine the price for your house? Good for you. Why did you decide to sell your house instead of deciding to list with a real estate agent? Great. So basically, no matter what they're saying, you're saying excellent, great, awesome, fantastic, marvelous, all fun adjectives, nothing negative. How much time will you take before you consider hiring the right agent for the job to sell your house? Excellent. Are you familiar with what I do to get houses sold? No. Oh, really? When would be the best time to show you? Tomorrow at 5 or Wednesday at 3? The more you talk with me, the more you'll see why people choose me to help them with their real estate needs. So you're just asking all those questions to use when you show up at the appointment. So you said that you want to be in Florida by September. Your house has already been on the market for 30 days and it hasn't sold. So wouldn't it be great if I could sell your house in 30 days for the money you want? And there are statistics, I don't know exactly what they are, but it's like you get 15% more when you sell with a realtor than when you first sell by owner. So if you're going to get 15% more for selling with a realtor and the realtor is only going to charge you 6, you're still making out. Alternate script for the same thing for FSBOs. Hello, and thank you for taking my call. This is Sabrina with Exit Realty. I work with many buyers in the area, and I was wondering, how can I help you? Just out of curiosity, where are you moving to? The reason I asked is I have listings in the area, and I was hoping you might be a buyer for one of my listings. You see, I call daily to find buyers for my sellers. By the way, when do you have to be there? How long will you try to sell your house before you consider listing with an agent? Great. That's exactly why I should come by your house. At a weak moment, you might end up with a weak agent, and I intend for you to meet an agent who many for sale by owners have decided to list with because I help them get what they want. When could I come by and see you for about 15 minutes? I can look at your house and tell potential buyers about it. Would today at 3 be okay, or 4? So no matter what script you use with for sale by owners, it's going to be a longer process. There's a reason that they don't want to sell with an agent. Either they used one before and they didn't have a good experience, or they just don't want to pay for one, or I don't know. There's a reason, and it's a deep reason usually. So it takes some time. It takes a lot of follow-up. I personally find the best way to go about it is with help. So, would you be open to me doing an open house? All I would ask is for the buyers, if there are buyers that don't want to purchase your house, I would just, you take them. Don't say it like that, but that's what you're going to do. I would just like to have access to the buyers who don't want to buy your house, so I can represent them to buy a different home. I can market it for you and list it. That's a way to get in, because if you bring 20 people to their open house, even if no one buys, they're going to be like, wow, this person can get buyers for me. Also, in .loop, there's a transaction sheet that says all the documents that we need to close a house to submit before we can get paid. You can also drop that off at their house and let them know that that's all the documentation that they're going to need to have filled out to close a real estate transaction. They're not going to know what half that stuff is. And then they're going to be like, what did I just get myself into? And then they might call you. So I personally would take the help approach. If you want to call and see if they need help buying another house, that's still the help approach. That's just my thoughts. All right, these are objection handlers. These are going to be the reasons why they tell you they don't want to work with you. I think it's all for expired, to be honest with you. Yes. So some of these are a little aggressive. So like if they say I'm going to stay with the same agent, I'm pretty sure it says in here somewhere that it says, what's the old agent going to do that this time that they didn't do last time? It's a very valid point, but you have to be very careful with how you say that. Like in here it says like, Albert Einstein said that doing the same thing and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. I wouldn't recommend calling anyone insane. But I mean, if you want to, go for it. But I just sugarcoat everything, like with filler words. So I definitely have said, so let me just ask you out of curiosity, and my voice gets super high pitched, like I'm the nicest person in the world. So let me just ask you out of curiosity, what's your old agent going to do this time that they didn't do last time? Doesn't sound so harsh when I say it like that. And then they'll answer me and they'll be like, I don't know. What do you mean? And I'm like, well, you know, last time it expired off the market. It didn't settle. So I'm just wondering, do they have a new plan? Or would you be interested in hearing a new plan? And then you can also recycle. My team specializes in selling houses that didn't sell the first time. We evaluate what happened last time, find the holes in the plan, and fix it. So it's all about tone and inflection. I'm going to sell it myself. Empathy is really important. I understand you want to sell it yourself. Can I ask you what happened last time? Do you mind if I ask you what happened last time? Well, my agent didn't do any open houses. It wasn't marketed anywhere. And we didn't get any feedback on the showings. We have no idea what happened. Just keep asking questions. Did you have a lot of showings? Yeah, we had 20 showings. You had 20 showings and no offers. Wow. Yeah. And you didn't get any feedback? There was no, she didn't give you any indication of why no one was interested?
What was it?
Oh, shit. In my scripts, they're all he's, so I'm just making it equal now. Now you lost my train of thought. Why do you do that? Jeez. So just ask questions. Just try to get as much information as you can. Why do you think selling it, you know, by yourself is going to be better than working with an agent? Just out of curiosity, just wondering. I think I can save money. So a great line, anytime money is brought up, is, so if I could get you the money you needed to go wherever it is you need to go, would you be interested in talking to me? Because really, if they're going to first sell by own, there's a net they need to have. Somewhere in their head, for whatever reason, there's an amount of money that they think they need to get for this house, right? So if there's a way for you to do that on top of your commission, then that's great. I mean, if they're already expired and now they're going to FSBO, I don't know, that's a little difficult because obviously there's already a price point they didn't sell at, and you need to be lower than that. You want it to sell. Even if the market's changed, because agents can see the history. So they're not going to offer a higher price when they can see that it was already, you know, dropped down. Yeah, that's a hard one, but I would say empathy is the best bet on that. And then once you're empathetic and they tell you what they hate about their old agent, then you can tell them what skills you have to fix that problem. So we didn't get any feedback. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm really sorry to hear that you didn't get any feedback. I know feedback's really valuable when you're trying to sell your house. We have a system called showing time. So whenever anyone is setting up appointments, it's all done online. And after the showing, they're sent an email asking for feedback, and that can be sent directly to you. So after every showing, you'll get the feedback for whatever anyone said. I can tell you that 90% of the agents fill those out. It's not 100%, but 90% of them do. so you would be able to get some feedback as to why people aren't liking your house. Also, another good one for that is we do what's called a broker's open. You guys know what that is? Okay. So we'll set up a broker's open to have all the local agents come out and they can give us feedback. We'll have a feedback form for them to fill out. They'll tell us what they think the house should be priced at, but also they'll tell us the positive and negative features of the house. This helps us because these are the same agents that are going to bring buyers, and when we're negotiating an offer, these are the issues that they're going to bring up. So if we can get ahead of these issues beforehand, then we are ahead of the game. And we'll get feedback on the house that way as well. I'm taking it off the market. We've decided to stay. That one you have to dig deeper. Why did you decide to stay? Did you decide to stay because now someone didn't have a job or they have to move to Texas? Are you deciding to stay because you decided not to get divorced? Are you deciding to stay because you don't want to sell till the spring? Why is it that you've decided to stay? Because that's going to be how you handle that objection is going to be based on the why in that instance. And also that's when you would say, again, if we presented you a contract tomorrow for the price that you wanted, would you still sell? Because generally they will still sell for the right price. I found another agent. Anytime that is said, first question is, have you signed a contract? Because if they haven't signed a contract, you can still get in. And they make it. And always on the listing appointment, leave with a contract. Don't let them think about it because they will have other agents come in. Actually, that's a very good point. So sometimes what expireds will do is they will interview several agents. So that's a question you want to ask when you're on the phone with them. If they agree to set an appointment with you, be like, great, that's awesome. I was just wondering, will you be interviewing other agents as well? If they say yes, you ask how many, and you ask where you are in the list. Are you first or are you last? I suggest being somewhere in the middle. And if you're a super strong closer, go in for number one. You don't want to be the last one because you will not make it to your appointment. Because there will be a stronger closer that comes in and shuts it down before you get there.
There'll be a stronger open. If you open strong, close come back.
Okay, so once you're in the listing appointment, if you know if they're interviewing other agents, you need to have them sign the contract. If they say they will not sign the contract, you need to ask them. Generally, when my sellers are hesitant about signing the listing contract, it's because I have not given them enough information to make the decision. So what information is it that you need from me to be able to make this decision today? And if they don't answer you with that, rebound it with, what is it that you think agent X is going to be able to do for you or is going to tell you tomorrow when you meet with them that I haven't told you yet? If they say nothing, then you say, then there's no reason for us to not sign right now. And they will say nothing.
So one thing you have to be careful though. Like, if you ever get to that point where you're kind of going back and forth, you don't want to come back because
Correct.
it puts them off cool. But once you're at that point, you gotta be like tiptoeing on eggshells when you're talking. The more combative or like the more going back and forth, the more off-putting you're becoming too. The harder it is to close it up. There's a balance you gotta kind of prep.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's something first, and you have to find out what that is first.
But until you find that out, go in with aggressive. Because aggressive is better than nice. It wins 99% of the time. So,
Yeah, I think I saw something that said nice in the good old days was like village idiot. And that if,
the village idiot was nice.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So, I mean, Chris isn't wrong. you don't want to like be insulting them, and you don't want to like, you know, be rude and disrespectful, but at the same time, you got to get your point across, and you have to say like, what is it? Like seriously, like
It's all about the balance.
what is it that you think is going to happen tomorrow that isn't happening right now? And you want to tell them, yes, we're in a seller's market, but houses are selling quickly. So if you wait an extra day to meet with agent X, you're losing a day to sell your house, and buyers just bought other houses. Sense of urgency. That is key. Oh, this is my favorite, because this one you can answer without being a jerk. Where were you when my house was on the market?
I should be.
I didn't know no, I would never ever say that.
No.
Nope. I always say, when they say, where were you when my house was on the market? I didn't know your house was for sale. What do you mean you didn't know my house was for sale? It was on the MLS. Yes, I understand that, but so are 20 other houses that fit my buyer's criteria. It's your agent's job not only to sell it to buyers, but also to sell it to me. And that's what I specialize in. But I didn't know your house was for sale. I probably had buyers that would have bought it, but I didn't know about it. You'll hear that, and I'm gonna keep the same agent. And then in December you hear, I'm gonna wait till the spring. And the only objection handler I've found for I'm gonna wait till the spring is, if I could bring you a full price offer tomorrow, would you be interested in accepting it? And then usually they say, I don't want to move in the winter. And then you say, well, if they were willing to wait till the spring to move, would you entertain the offer? And generally they say yes, but I mean, really, how many buyers do you have that are going to buy in December and wait till May to move in? Not very many. Got any handlers for that one? But it gets you in the door, and you can follow up with them, and you can ask them, is it okay? I always ask, the only time I ask, when I'm on the phone, if they say that they're going to list in the spring, I say, is it okay to check back with you in a couple of months? And they always say yes. And then I just keep checking in with them until they list in the spring. Or if I do have a buyer that I think would be great for it, I'll call them and be like, I have a buyer that's qualified, that is looking for exactly what you have. Are you interested in selling? I've called expireds to do that too. If you can't find a house for your buyers because we have low inventory and you're looking through expireds, that's a great way to get in. I have a client who's looked at everything on the market and they don't like it and your house fits their criteria. We come over and take a look. I have really bad hiccups right now, so I'm sorry.
So do you have to list that house first? How does that work?
Nope.
You just do it as a buyer transaction? Before sale by owner?
No, it wouldn't be a for sale by owner really either. You'd sort of be a dual agent because the owner's probably not going to know how to write up their own offer.
Mhm.
But you would write, what I would do is just write my commission on the offer. Whatever percentage you want, you just write that in the additional terms.
Okay.
You should also ask about the commission before you bring your buyers.
I wouldn't.
No?
I wouldn't. I would just bring them there and see if they're interested in negotiate my
Everybody
commission
asks
offer.
this. You should, what your buyers really wanted, and they're not willing to pay commission.
I mean, if they were already listed and they're expired, they know they're going to pay. So if you bring the buyer there, they're going to pay you. It's just what they're going to pay you. And if you really want to sell the house and your buyers really want it, they're going to pay you. So it's all back to negotiation. All right, any other questions? You guys have had a long day. I do not envy you. Find me on Worcester Real Estate Team on Facebook, Worcester Real Estate Team at Gmail.
You'll see me on Bird Fight.
Yeah, thanks. You'll see me on Burnfoot Street? Uh-huh. I will, and I'll kill you. I do live there, so I will see you. Why isn't this accent?